I'm STARBORN. Remember, to be a star, you have to shine your own light, follow your own path, and not be afraid of the darkness, because that's when stars shine brightest. If you've been looking at our website, starborninstitute.org, you would already know that the title of tonight's show is Hot Stuff. And that is because on Sunday, we are having a overwhelmingly powerful new moon at 1 degree of Leo. And it is the first of 2 new moons that we're having in Leo this year. The second one will be in the following month on August 21st, when there is a prophetic solar eclipse at 29 degrees of Leo. But on Sunday, the sun and the new moon are at 1 degree of Leo, and Mars is accompanying that. Mars is at 2 degrees of Leo. And then Mercury is also in the sign at 27 degrees. So these 4 planets in Leo constitute a stellium of planets, and it certainly does make this whole sign very strong. But there are actually 6 planets in fire signs in a grand trine. And that is because the 4 planets in Leo are also trining Uranus in Aries and Saturn in Sagittarius. So with 6 planets in fire signs that like to move quickly, the pace can certainly pick up now. And that might be due to passionate desires, or it could be due to pent-up feelings and sudden emotional outbursts, or it could be due just to the speed of things that could increase, or it could be due to a call to arms, or to somebody who just simply thinks they're hot stuff and has a very big ego and could decide to just take aim and fire. And so this is a time when our safety can be threatened, and everyone has to be very, very careful, particularly of anything that is moving too quickly, or of volatile people who are somewhat vehement right now, because, oh boy, they could do real harm. And the reason for that is that the sun, new moon, and Mars are so close together. Mars is not a loving planet. It rules war, and it also rules greed and jealousy and hate and envy, and it certainly does rule aggression and passion. And so since it is conjunct the lights, the sun and the moon, it is really compounding the power of the lights, but it may not necessarily be for the good. It is backed up too, because remember, the Uranus in Aries is trining the 4 planets in Leo, and so is Saturn in Sagittarius. So it can be that somebody could feel as if they are very much in command, and they could have a very belligerent attitude, a sort of a warlike attitude right now. And they could occur anywhere in our lives. It isn't just famous people or people on the world stage. It could happen anywhere in some sort of sudden outburst, or even something like road rage. And that's why we all have to be very, very careful, because this grand trine in fire signs involves all 3 malefic planets. Remember, there are 6 planets trining each other. Well, the 3 malefic planets are Mars in Leo, Uranus in Aries, and Saturn in Sagittarius. And believe me, since these malefic planets that can do harm are all in good aspect to each other and fortifying each other, this is a time when somebody could really go overboard and simply decide that they are in command and that they are going to perhaps even do something like set the whole world on fire. So we really have to be very, very careful right now. So this is a time when, if you are feeling overly emotional or you're feeling angry about something, I hope that you have a way to control your anger energy and put it to a constructive use, because otherwise you might do something that you could regret. And that is why we all need to be very, very careful and sort of try to hold our tongues in the next week if we can. In fact, there are 2 planetary aspects that we do need to keep in mind right now that can sort of help guide us. The first one is very general. It's that there are 3 retrograde planets right now. And when there are 3 or more retrograde planets, in other words, planets going backward on their orbits, covering ground they've already covered before, it is a better time for us to go back and finish things, or tie up loose ends, or catch up on things that we just hadn't really completed yet. So it's a good time to really slow down and double check everything that you do. Particularly with 6 planets in fire signs, you could move forward so quickly that you can make a mistake almost without realizing it, and later you'd have to go back and redo something. And so it's really better just to slow down. By the time in another month when there is another new moon in Leo, which is the solar eclipse, there will be 5 retrograde planets. That means you really are going to have to go back to the drawing boards and make sure you've got something done correctly. So Neptune in Pisces, Pluto in Capricorn, and Saturn in Sagittarius are all retrograde right now. But in another month, Uranus in Aries will be retrograde, and so will Mercury in Virgo. And so with half of all the planets retrograde in another month, this is really a better time for you to just be cautious and double check everything rather than speed too quickly forward and make mistakes that could be costly. The other aspect that we need to look out for now is a very precise one, and it is that Venus is in Gemini at 22 degrees, and today it is exactly, or under the new moon on Sunday, it is exactly opposing Saturn in Sagittarius, also at 22 degrees, and Saturn is retrograde. The opposition between these 2 planets is exact. It's as harsh as it can get, and it can indicate a betrayal. Neptune in Pisces is squaring both of these signs too, and Neptune is retrograde. So as we see the truth coming out about hidden enemies or even hidden plots or things that amount to deceptions or omissions, as we see that truth unfold, there can be an overwhelming betrayal that could really end someone's career right now. It would be finished. And at the same time, we've got to remember that if you know somebody that thinks they're sort of hot stuff right now, this is a time when anyone who has thought they were hot stuff could get badly burned instead. And that is just another reason to be cautious, particularly in the next week. All right, what does this idea of hot stuff mean to all 12 of the sun signs? Well, Aries, for you, I think that you're going to be able to move like greased lightning, Aries, and the reason why is you have Uranus in your sign, and it is the planet of sudden change, but oh boy, it has a lot of backup. The Sun, New Moon, Mars, your own ruler, and Mercury in Leo are all trining Uranus in your sun sign, and so is Saturn in Sagittarius. So you have a choice, Aries. You could rebel against something, decide you don't like it, and just move away from that and start something new real quickly. And that is because Jupiter in Libra is opposing your sun sign, which means you may not like the legal terms in something, or you may be looking at a change in partnerships. And also Pluto in Capricorn is squaring Uranus, and that simply means there can be changes in management or changes in budgets that you might not agree with, Aries, and that could force you to make a quick change, which you can be very successful at, by the way. Also, because the 4 planets in Leo are trining your sun, and they are so forceful, you might want to move real quickly onto something new because somebody else is sort of prodding you or wanting you to do that. And if you agree with them, that's another reason why you could be moving so quickly towards something new. So no matter what your reason is, Aries, I think you're really going to be on the move. And it isn't just this week. It isn't going to slow down for you until the fall, particularly until September. So this is just the beginning of you being on a roll, Aries, but you have to be very careful and remember to slow down as well, or you could make costly mistakes that will have to be redone. Okay, what does it mean to a Taurus? Well, Taurus, this is a time when I'm sorry to say the party is over. And the reason why the party is over is because those 4 planets in Leo are so strongly squaring your sun sign. People who are strong in fixed signs are going to run into challenges now, and that is because the Sun, New Moon, Mars, and Mercury in Leo are all squaring your sun sign, Taurus, and that simply means since Leo rules the traditional fifth house of creativity and children and sports and gambling and the entertainment world and parties and fun, it simply means that, particularly since it rules sports, that there can be somebody coming up against you now, Taurus, who is extremely competitive. And they can be even harshly competitive because it's Mars that's squaring your sign. And so you need to be careful with your money. I'd keep an eye on all of it right now because Mars is squaring your sign, and your sign rules investments. And also, this competition can be so fierce that it could sort of make you want to quit something or just leave something alone right now. But I urge you not to do that, Taurus. Stay competitive. You know, keep your hand in and don't quit no matter what. And the reason why is that your ruler, Venus, is in Gemini right ahead of your sun sign, and Jupiter in Libra is trining that Venus. You might feel as if you have to be in two places at once, or you may feel as if you have to do one thing and you have to take on extra duties. Well, this is going to continue all the way through August and until September, Taurus, so that pressure isn't going to let up. But I urge you not to run from it, but to go ahead and compete with others. Don't let them bowl you over, because your ruler is so well placed right now, you can get help from other people. Or you can, if you have money problems, you can take on an extra part-time job. It may not be forever, but it could certainly help you and maybe tide you over. So don't give up, even if you are going to be facing stiff competition, because things could turn around in your favor by September. Okay, what does it mean to a Gemini? Well, Gemini, Venus is in your sign, which is just wonderful because Jupiter in Libra is trining it, and that simply means that you really have the law on your side. Both planets are direct, and that you can be very popular, and you can be setting things up for a better future, not only for yourself, but for your loved ones or your friends and pals or neighbors or buddies. Anybody in your immediate vicinity can benefit from the sort of good mood that you're in right now, and from your ability to communicate, because your sign does rule buying and selling and promoting and advertising and short journeys and short forms of communication. So go to it, Gemini. But at the same time, Venus at 22 degrees on Sunday will be opposing Saturn also at 22 degrees, and Neptune in Pisces is squaring that Venus. And so you really need to be aware of the fact that the truth will come to the surface about some people, and there can be an overwhelming betrayal for the right reasons. In other words, the proof is really in, particularly the legal proof, and that can end somebody's career. Don't blame yourself if that happens, Gemini. I don't think it's happening to you, but it can be happening to somebody you know. And you know, they're going to reap as they have sown. You really don't have too much to do with it. So you should just anticipate being busier, because the new moon on Sunday, along with the other planets in Leo, sextile your sun, which means you're going to have an opportunity to sort of speed things up, and you probably will have to, Gemini. But that's all right. It simply means that people are going to want to get things done swiftly. That's not half as important as getting things done well. And that is why even you need to slow down and double check things right now because of those 3 retrograde planets. Okay, what does it mean to a Cancer? Well, Cancer, this is simply a time when you have the choice of either jumping in, sort of like going from the frying pan into the fire, because the new moon and all those planets in Leo are right ahead of your sun sign on Sunday, or you can sort of sit back, relax, and put your feet up and just enjoy simple pleasures. And that's because Venus is in Gemini right behind your sun sign. So if you want to jump in where angels fear to tread, you could do that. And then you would be really moving at a fast pace. But that isn't exactly your nature, Cancer. And since there's only one planet in a water sign, which is Neptune in Pisces, and that's trining your sun, you don't have a lot of support right now, so why don't you just sort of relax with your friends and your brothers and your sisters and your pals and your buddies while Venus is in Gemini right behind your sun sign. So there can be some wonderful change in the background of your life, some easy transitional change. And if I were you, I would sit out all the hubbub around you and simply relax and enjoy your summer holiday right now if you can, particularly since Venus behind your sun sign means that you do have protection from loving friends. Okay, what does it mean to a Leo? Well, Leo, that new moon on Sunday is in your sun sign and it is loaded. It might be you, Leo, that's thinking that you're hot stuff right now, or that you have been thinking that you're pretty happy with the results of whatever you've been doing. Because your sign rules love affairs, children, sports, the whole entertainment field, glamour, parties. Certainly it rules summer fun and creativity. It rules horse racing and gambling. And you could certainly want to be doing all of those things. Your sign also rules extravagance. So you really have to be careful with the money and keep your hands in your pockets, Leo. But you can want everyone to have a good time right now. And I have a feeling you might end up being a little more generous than your pocketbook can afford. So try to sort of keep a lid on the spending if you can. The other thing that your sign rules is leadership and courage. And this is a time, particularly if there's someone around with a belligerent attitude that sort of decides to set the world on fire, this is a time when many people will have to have courage. And so you are a person that does automatically have that, Leo, and you may be called on to use that or exhibit that wonderful trait, and I think that you would do a good job of it. But try not to overdo anything right now, because your sign also rules the heart, the back, and the blood supply, and this is a time with Mars in your sign when many people can be subject to heart attacks. And so try to keep your blood pressure down if you can, Leo, and simply enjoy the summer and go back and finish a few things right now. Remember, there are 3 retrograde planets. Okay, what does it mean to a Virgo? Well, Virgo, this is a time when I think you got a little trouble behind the scenes, and that trouble's going to stick around until your birthday, Virgo. And the reason why is there's not just one new moon in Leo behind your sun sign like there is on Sunday, but there are going to be 2, because there will also be a solar eclipse on August 21st in Leo. And since the sun, moon, and Mars will be there under both new moons, and Mars can represent jealousy or envy or passion or greed, or it can represent people who sort of want to knife you in the back. That's why you have to be very careful right now, Virgo, because there can be some competition or some jealousy or some backstabbing going on, and you wouldn't necessarily know that. And that is because you don't have a suspicious nature. You're a person that deals in facts rather than fiction or over-emotionalism. But this is a time when you need to be careful, because Venus in Gemini is squaring your sun, Saturn in Sagittarius is squaring your sun, and Neptune in Pisces is opposing your sun sign, and that new moon with that treacherous Mars is right behind your sun sign. So you're going to have to work at relaxing not only now, but throughout August and clear until your birthday, when things can really turn out very positively for you. So this is a time when you would do better to go back and finish things up, and to make sure that everything that you care about is well taken care of, and just pay attention to that and nothing else. Because I don't want you to worry too much, Virgo, because worry is something that can make you sick. And you really don't have a reason to worry about yourself, but it's just the atmosphere around you or the people around you, and they may be having a lot of trouble that you didn't cause. So try to mind your own business and stay out of it. Okay, what does it mean to a Libra? Well, Libra, this is a time when you may benefit from the new moon, because the sun, moon, Mars, and Mercury in Leo are sextiling your sun, which is good. That's 4 planets, and they are very powerful right now, and they're sextiling Jupiter in your own sun sign, and Venus in Gemini is trining that Jupiter. You can be very popular, Libra, but if somebody wants to really get some some project underway and they can be wanting to do that real quickly, they may really appreciate your tact and your diplomacy and your ability to compromise right now and to get people together. And that is because they can be so sort of hell-bent on what they want that they realize they need somebody to sort of balance things out or mellow things out. And that could be you, Libra. So I hope that you try to be at your very best right now, because whatever is going to be happening, even if it's happening fast, it could be of some sort of benefit to you. And you don't even have to do anything, Libra. All you have to do is sort of be at your charming best right now, and you will profit. Okay, what does it mean to a Scorpio? Well, Scorpio, yours is a fixed sign, and oh boy, the fixed signs are in for it now. And that is because the Sun, New Moon, Mars, your own ruler, and Mercury in Leo are all harshly squaring your sun sign. And so they are calling the shots right now, and you're not, Scorpio, because the only planet that's trining your sun sign is Neptune in Pisces. So you can be effective going behind the scenes. Scorpio is one of the signs of the good detective, and you can find out what the real truth is. But you might really get your eyes open, but you may not be able to resolve an issue right now, because there can be people with belligerent attitudes. There can be other people who really think they're hot stuff and want to command everything right now, and they don't have your best interests at heart, Scorpio. So since your sign does rule both patience and secrecy, this is a good time for you to be as quiet as you can, particularly around people who are sort of wanting to go overboard right now, and certainly want to do things the way their big ego is instructing them. And you know, you more or less have to step back and let that happen and see then what you can do to solve a problem. But I don't think you can combat a problem right now because it's too forceful. And it could be aimed at you. You could make yourself a target if you're not careful. That's why I think you should be patient, stand on the sidelines, and be as quiet as possible. It doesn't mean you don't know what's going on. It just means this may not be the correct time for you to react to it. So be cautious. Strategy is everything. Okay, what does it mean to a Sagittarian? Well, Sagittarius, this is a time when there is a possibility of change in your life. Now, it could be dynamic, surprising change, because the new moon in Leo with those 4 planets is trining your sun, and so is Uranus in Aries. So anything could happen right now, Sagittarius. There could be very, very swift change. You, with Saturn in your sun sign, which is a planet of stability, and it's a planet that it isn't a fast planet, it doesn't move quickly at all. You could be reluctant to make a change, but it could be very much in your favor to do that right now. And if other people are acting quickly, you are the person that could say, wait a minute, have we gone and checked everything? Remember, Saturn is retrograde in your sign. So it may be your job to stand in the background and double check a lot of other people who are moving real quickly, but they might be making mistakes as well, and that is something that you would need to, you'd sort of need to be there to catch them when they fall, Sagittarius, and that could constitute some sort of change in your life, and it probably would be best. It would be for the best. You could look at it that way. Okay, what does it mean to a Capricorn? Well, Capricorn, the new moon in Leo and the solar eclipse a month from now in Leo are 150 degrees away from your sun sign or in conjunct. You may not be as affected as other people are right now, and so you may not have to react as quickly to sudden change or to people with big egos that think they're hot stuff that really can create quite a problem right now, or maybe they've already created the problem. And even though they're the ones that are going to get burned, still, I don't think that since they operate at a pace that you don't like, I don't think that you're really too connected to a sudden volatile situation that could erupt right now, nor do you have to react quickly to it. And so if I were you, Capricorn, there aren't any other planets in Earth signs. Your sign isn't fortified, but you do have Pluto there. And Pluto is a planet of power, and it generally represents the power of deep truth. And so stick to your original plan for something, stick to what can make you powerful, and try to disregard even the chaos or the fiery eruptions that can happen now under this volatile new moon in Leo, because it's going to get worse before it gets better, Capricorn. That's why you really need to work on sort of withdrawing and keeping your cool right now, which is the way you like to operate anyway. Okay, what does it mean to an Aquarian? Well, Aquarius, this is simply a time when I think that you're going to have to anticipate moving on. And the reason why is that those 4 planets in Leo, the Sun, Moon, Mars, and Mercury, are very forcefully opposing your sun sign. And that is too much for you to withstand. So if someone is trying to compete with you or overwhelm you, or even if you get in their line of fire, it could be disastrous for you, Aquarius. So you need to move on. You need to change. And you need to contemplate a change now, because it's going to get worse before it gets better, Aquarius. That could pertain to your health as well. Remember, with Mars and Leo, there can be heart attacks or problems in the blood supply or with the back, and they could be somewhat deadly. And so this is a time, while Venus is in Gemini and Jupiter is in Libra, trining your sun, when you could announce a change. You may not really feel like you're ready to make the change, but this is a time when, if you, being so popular right now, if you announced when a change is going to occur and you really kept to it, that may divert people who could be extremely cruel to you right now. Maybe if they know you're going to make the change, they'll back off a little bit, and that could save your life right now, Aquarius. So I hope that you really decide to change and go your own way, particularly with 2 good planets helping you with that. Okay, what does it mean to a Pisces? Well, Pisces, Neptune in your sign is not being fortified by any other planets, because there aren't any planets in water signs right now. And so it is squaring Saturn in Sagittarius and Venus in Gemini, which are exactly opposing each other. That's as harsh as it gets. And that simply means, since Neptune is retrograde in your sign, that the truth can come out about something. It could come out about you, or it could be that you are beginning to really realize the truth about others. And it can be that you are instrumental in understanding that a betrayal is okay. In other words, you can't keep going along and living a lie. Somebody can't. And the reason why is that when the truth comes out, many more people will know about a deception or an omission or something that is just fake. And so, you know, it's a time when you can actually do good right now by being as honest as you can about something. And if you've been kidding yourself, Pisces, this is the time when you would be betraying not only yourself but others if you don't turn around and just face the truth and admit it and then go on. In another month, Venus by the next new moon, the solar eclipse, will be in Cancer, trining your sun. So this is a wonderful time for you to sort of look in the mirror and see if you like what you're looking at, Pisces, and if you don't, it's a good time to make a change. And remember to finish things up rather than start things now. All right, thanks so much for tuning in. Remember, you can see the show anytime you want by subscribing to it on our website, starborninstitute.org. Bye.